Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Charles here, and welcome to another great show. I have a special guest. Of course, all my guests are special, but they bring you different things to think about, different things to work on, and that's why every guest is special. So please welcome to the show my special guest. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. How are you?
I'm good. How you been?
I'm good, actually. I'm good. Thank you.
There you go. Please introduce yourself.
Yes. So my name is Maria. I'm a lawyer. I have my own practice. It's a boutique law firm. It's a pretty fresh and new. So I'm just here to tell you guys about myself and how I've gone to be who I am and share my experience.
Great. Now let's get some background on you, though. Born and raised, where are you from?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Estonia. It's a small country in the Baltic states, just across the Gulf of Baltic Sea from Finland. And I was born in 1980s, like early 80s. So it was still like a Soviet times. And I am an immigrant. So I came to Canada in 2008. And since then, it's been pretty intense. Yeah, I actually got my law degree back in Estonia.
Okay.
And then I came here and I became an internationally trained solicitor, a lawyer.
Right.
I had to go through the NCA route, which is the National Committee of Accreditation for internationally trained lawyers process. Where they get to, review your background, your educational background from your country of origin, and then they tell you which next steps you have to make. So I've been through this, route. It's been quite a long process, to be honest. And, it's obviously no fun because it's been a lot of studying. And eventually I became a lawyer and I ended up opening my own practice. But even before I became a lawyer, I was a law clerk. I worked as a staff for a long time at the law firms. And it kind of I think, made me who I am in terms of my priorities.
So so sorry, because I'm listening to your story, but it sounds like, since it's a lot of studying, a lot of passion, but you didn't give up. So this is something you always wanted to do from a little girl, or did you want to do anything else?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thanks for asking it. It's kind of funny because at my school, in Estonia, when I went to high school, grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, we actually had law as the selective course. And it wasn't really optional, but it was an additional selective course. So we had law, economics, and philosophy, and a couple other courses. And actually, this is when I started, studying law, starting with the history of law and, some specifics. And I was, I guess, 14 at a time when I just gotten into that. And to be honest with you, I haven't ever thought of doing anything other than law from that moment on.
So you got the bug. The bug just grabbed you, and you're like, you loved it. You're interested in it.
It was one of those courses that actually did make me feel passionate about the process of studying. I am a student by nature. I like learning new things, but it's obviously much easier to learn something new if you're also passionate about the topic. So after I've graduated the high school, I've gone into law school. I originally am Russian, though my mother tongue is Russian. So I've gone first into Russian university, but unfortunately my country at the time was going through a lot of political, economical, structural changes. It stopped being a part of the Soviet Union. It's gained independence. So I had to switch to the university that was actually Estonian university. So I had to study Estonian language. And I got into the University of Tartu, which is one of the best. And the studying was actually very, very tough and very theoretical, a lot of studying, a lot of learning, memorizing, especially if it's done in the foreign language. So you kind of do double the amount of work. You not only have to memorize the topic, you also have to memorize the language to introduce the topic to the instructors.
Right.
It's been, definitely a lot of studying.
So what about the law? What about it that just kept you going? What part of it just grabbed you and you just said, "Oh, I got to stick with this. This is so interesting. I can help people." Which part of it was it?
Well, it's a moving topic. If you study, I mean, no offense to all the numbers people out there, accountants or anything. But if you study numbers, say, and I'm sure it's a very passionate topic for a lot of people, but numbers, they don't really change too much. I mean, they change the sequence of numbers and the various tasks you can do to them. Versus what I'm trying to say, in law, things change every day. And even the things I've learned at the university, even here at the university, so many of them have changed ever since. It's a moving topic. It's a moving target, right? It always keeps you on your toes. It always challenges you daily, right? It's also about the interaction. And other than even all of that, it is about helping people. It is about being there for your clients. It is about having the authority granted to you by the government, which will help you to be this channel, this sort to say access to justice, tool for your clients. And it is a privilege, but it's also a great responsibility. But once you master that to the degree of your ability, it's very hard to give it up.
All right. So let's dive into the pinpoint now. So what is the pinpoint of the law that you study?
So I originally started working back in Estonia when I was at the second year at university, at Estonian university. I've gone into human rights, as many young passionate lawyers. We all get into human rights first. I actually did legit get into human rights. I actually worked for the Legal Information Center for Human Rights. I was providing legal support and advice to a lot of people, all pro bono. At the time, it was done as the part of the European Commission project. So European Commission would sponsor such projects with the new country, new members of the European Union. So I was still back at Estonia at the time. Estonia became a part of the European Union in 2001, I believe. So that was sponsored by this commission. And I did help a lot of, I want to think so anyway, that I did help some people, and one of the, I guess, the major examples of that was me being able to pull someone from the human trafficking. And there was this young girl, her mom actually reached out to me, and the young girl was kind of like, I guess, sold to the human trafficking in Greece. She was told that she'll work as a hostess, and then you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I had to use all the tools that were available to me at the time, and we were able to get her back within a short period of time. So there was this experience, which obviously made me very happy. So when I got to Canada, and I first came to Canada as the tourist, then I came to Canada as an international student. I thought I'm just gonna, study language a little bit, and then I just liked it here too much, so I decided to stay. So when I've gone to Canada, I mean, as everyone in Toronto probably know, what's the hottest in Toronto right now? It's real estate, right? So I've gotten into real estate pretty fast. There's a lot of demand for real estate practitioners and support staff. As I mentioned, I was a support staff at the beginning. So there was a lot of demand to that. Especially this year, it was crazy amount of demand for real estate clerks. It's very hard to find a good one. If you are the lawyer and you found a good clerk, you better appreciate them. So I've gotten into real estate, and it was very interesting to me because in Estonia, even to get to work in the law firm at any kind of support staff or assistant or whoever, you need to have bachelor's in law, and you need to pass a certain screening. So junior lawyers start with performing duties of the assistant, but here the requirements are a little bit more, I guess, light in these terms. So there's a little bit more freedom. So it was an opportunity for me to actually experience what law and what's working with local clients and lawyers is about without getting my law degree first. So, and at the time I thought I'm just going to practice it for a while and see if I enjoy it or not. And if I enjoy it, then I can pursue, my studies further, right, as the solicitor, which I ended up doing. So
So it looks like you've been in a whirlwind from start to finish. You're studying new things, you're learning new things. So here's one question. I'm kind of going backwards a little bit. If you could change one thing, because you studied abroad and you come here and you have to study and go through it all again. If you could, talk to one person to make it kind of easier for immigrants when they come over, what would you change?
I would say come as early as you can, because oftentimes I see these topics being brought up on like even social media. People are saying, I'm going to finish my degree here and then I'm going to go to Canada. Don't waste your time. The sooner you come, the better. The process of immigration is not an easy process. And the younger you are in this process, the easier it's going to be for you to overcome the challenges. And, just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
If you have a goal, if your goal is to be in Canada and you are certain 100%, don't waste a single day of your lifetime.
Good advice. Very good advice. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Immigrant Women in Business, IWB, is a non-profit organization bringing together women from over 50 different countries around the globe. These women have now made Canada their home and share a common goal of providing value to their new sisters. Our motto of "We are stronger together" resonates with all members, and with a diverse membership of business leaders, entrepreneurs and community builders, our goal is to make Canada better and provide guidance and leadership to those that follow.
CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com. Yes, we're back live, and then we're going to get right into it. So let's talk about your business, how it started, what year, how'd you get into it? Let's go.
So me becoming and the owner of my business was actually caused by a little bit of the backward goal setting situation. What I mean by that is by working as a staff, as the clerk in the various law firms for a long time, I was able to actually create the mental list of things that I did not like and that I did not want to do for the rest of my life. The thing is, I really love what I'm doing. I love real estate law, all sorts of law. I love working with the clients. That being said, working at the law firms can have its own perks, as I'm sure anyone who ever worked at the law firm knows. And there are certain things that I was not very passionate about. Some of the things would be, office politics, obviously. Some nepotism unfortunately still happens. Some maybe even, well, I don't want to say discrimination or whatever, but maybe it's, not as much equality and, equity for maybe even young female immigrants. I don't know. It just, there were things that I was able to reflect upon as I was actually locked down in my house during the COVID lockdown. And that kind of forced me to think over those, things over and over again, and prepare this list of things that I disliked. Any simple things, starting with the commute to the office and, dressing up every day, and, the repetitive nature of work. So I just knew that if I'm not going to make this change right now, nothing ever is going to change for me. And, I was just going to be stuck doing what I'm doing because I don't want to change the field. I love what I'm doing. But at the same time, the means of doing that might not be ideal. And also, as the clerk, I did work one-on-one with many clients, obviously without giving legal advice or anything like that. But I still got to experience the customer service, being integrated with my clients' projects, connecting with my clients. So I knew that to achieve that to the fullest, probably having your own practice is the better idea because you get to choose a little bit your own clientele and the files that you work on and things like that. So it was actually caused by the COVID and the lockdown that I actually came to this idea that if I really want to make a change in my life and feel fulfilled and do what I really enjoy doing in a way that I enjoy that to be done, I probably have to try and open my own practice. And opening your own practice is a challenging thing. It's a little bit more challenging than I originally imagined, especially in real estate, because you need to have your trust account set up and you need to have, certain licenses set up, additional insurances. Definitely the website, you have to think through the marketing, you have to think through the networking, and all the law firms where I worked before, I left them without obviously bringing any clients on board, because they're not, you can't compete with the firms you work at, right?
Right.
So you kind of start from the ground zero a little bit, and you have to figure out, and you have to come up with your own strategy. And the thing is, you can't really do it and then redo it and then do it again and see that works or doesn't work, because you're the lawyer, you're the professional, right? The one thing in being a legal professional that you have to be a little bit mindful of, you don't really get second chances too much, because obviously we have to comply with the, so many requirements. And so you do need to get it right from the get-go. So you have to put a lot of process into that. Again, I'm very, very thankful for my experience working at the law firms before. And I think it's really helped me to know just to even start things going, and I'm very thankful for my connections, the personal friends and the professional connections that were also there for me when I needed them. But the thing is, again, if you're the young professional and you want to start your practice, I recommend doing it way in advance, because there are simple things we don't really think of, such as search engine optimization, right? It takes really the minimum of 6 months to.
Yeah, you need to really push it to get started. You know what I mean? If you're doing something, get it done and push to get your business out there. And that's what you've done. You take the time, you put the effort in, and then now people will recognize what you're doing. They see all the effort you're doing, and then it'll come back, tenfold. But you have to put in the work. And that's the one key thing that I love that you're saying. Put in the work. Don't waste your time. Put in the work.
Exactly. I can't empathize it enough. Like the search engine optimization, for example, takes at the very minimum 6 months. Before you even get that one going, you need to have your website set up. Before you even have your website set up, you need to have your office. Before you do your office, you need to have your lease agreement. Before you have your lease agreement, you need to have your company. Before you have your company, you need to incorporate. Before you incorporate, you need to have bank account. I can't tell you the chain of events that all that takes.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a little bit hard way. I didn't have necessarily like a business mentor. I just kind of like did things and like thought about things, and I did it hard way, but I did it right way. But
right.
Yeah.
So now you're here. So let's talk about one part that you're here, because I find this interesting. So wills and estates. Okay. I find that very interesting, because a lot of people don't think about wills. Okay. And they don't think about, well, if I go, who gets my house? Who gets my apartment? Who gets my stuff? Oh, they'll just work it out. And no, if you have like 3 kids, which of the kids get it? Which kid takes control? Which kid? If there's
Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you. Yes.
So let's talk about that. How does it work, and what do we need to do so there is no fighting? Because when it's written down, it's easier. This is the wishes of your parents or your mother, your wife, your husband. Like, what do we do?
Yeah. So actually, there is some information on my website to the process and why is it so important. And as you mentioned, some of the good points as well. The reason why it is important to have the will is because it's just going to make the whole process of the probate so much easier for everyone. And I'm not going to go too much into legal details, but even from just the general administrative point, that when the person is gone and the estate needs to be probated, you need to have an estate trustee, right? The estate trustee is someone who steps into the deceased person's kind of like, the steps, the foot, and takes over the estate and then distributes the estate in accordance with the will. So who is this person? It's a very important person. It's an honor to be an estate trustee, but it's also a huge responsibility, and they barely get paid. But the person will get access to your bank accounts, get access to your assets, gets access to your, debts, whatever you name it, they'll have access to that, right? You really want to make sure your estate trustee is someone you can trust, and someone who is probably somewhat in the loop with the affairs that are, your personal or your business affairs, because you don't want to just drop the bomb on someone and, just get them to figure it out. And not only that, the person also has to probably be like a resident of Canada to avoid other consequences. So there are this certain thing, like it's a small thing, but it's so important, right? It's so important. And the whole process of the making the will, of going through the probate, has so many of those little things that no one really thinks about, but that can affect so many people down the road, right? The other good example, if you have children, because you can, appoint and the guardianship for the will in a way a little bit. So that's an important thing. If you have a small child and like both of you are gone, both parents are gone, who's going to take care of the child? Like you can choose your own guardian. So how amazing is that? And people don't.
They go, I got time. Yeah. Don't worry. Nothing's going to happen to me now. Nothing. And things do happen. You never know. We pray every day that, we can live to another day, but things do happen. Simple stuff that we can't just say, we'll figure it out. So here's my little one squitzer. I'm going to see if I can squeeze it in and ask you, how should we start though? Do we talk to each other? Do we say, well, I think we should do this? Like, because sometimes wife and husband don't agree on certain things. How do we fill out a form? What do we need to do to make it easier and smoother that we're all on the same page? I want to give it to this person, but she wants to give it to that person. Is there a way of splitting it up? Is there a way of doing two different things?
Yeah, of course. So let me just give you a small caveat. There are certain assets that will bypass the will or the estate altogether. Those will be assets that are owned as joint tenancy with the right of survivorship, or the assets that have a designated beneficiary, right? So everything that is owned in that specific way or has a designated beneficiary is not even going to be part of your estate. So if you own the house with your wife as joint tenancy with the right of survivorship and you were to die, the house is not going to get probated. The wife is going to become the sole owner of the house, right? That's just a small caveat. But other than that, yes, of course, you can designate your own beneficiaries, and your wife can have her own beneficiaries under the estate. The process with me is actually very, very simple and easy. I start with sending out the link for amazing software that is being established or like developed by the leading Wilson estate law firm, actually in I think Ontario. They've developed this beautiful software, and I partnered up with them, and I'm very happy about it. So I send out this link. My client gets the link. That's why I use the word agile in my marketing. I consider myself very technically progressive because of this link specifically. But anyway, so the client gets the link, and it takes you to the software where you can draw your own family tree and, list your assets, list your debts. And then after that, you tell me. After that, I'll take you through 3 different scenarios. And you call me, you tell me what you want. We accomplish it all electronically. I can do it right in front of my client. It will take 5 minutes. Really, it might take longer, depends on how complex the situation is. And that's it. And then we review everything. As the lawyer, I review everything carefully, make sure there's nothing been overlooked. I go from all the pitfalls and stuff like that, and we print it out and we sign it, we witness it, and you're good to go.
Yep. See, and that's why, you find somebody like her to help you out, 2 pushes of a button and you're good to go. It's all new technology. So, because I think a lot of people are worried that, I got to write everything out. I got to say everything. I think that's what people are afraid of. You got to be, when they say write a will, they actually think, yes, sitting there, write a whole will. So There you go. That's why you need to find somebody, go to her website, find out some more information, and it's easy peasy. Just learn some things right there. All right. So it is that time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do what we need to do. Stay tuned. Here we go. Now time All right, it's now time for pick 3. It's a simple little game. You're going to pick numbers between 1 and 10. And those 3 numbers you pick, I'm going to ask you some questions. So give me 3 numbers between 1 and 10.
3, 6, and 9.
3, 6, and 9. Ooh, that was quick. All right, here we go. Number 3. What advice would you give someone to pursue a career similar to yours?
I would give them advice, try it first somewhere else. Like, don't jump all in first. Get a job as the assistant or intern. Try it out first. It's not for everyone. And might look glamorous on TV when you watch Suits, but it's not for everyone. And try it. If you have an opportunity, if you have an uncle that got a neighbor that got a law firm who's looking for intern, jump on it.
Jump on. All right. 3, 6. Let me go over to number 6. What's the one myth about your industry that you want to squash right now?
Well, I'm not sure if it's a myth or it's a kind of a cliche that I think gets a little bit redundant in 2021. But I keep on hearing that all over and over again. People are saying it's the male-dominated industry. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, like, I love men, but don't take it personally. But when you deal with the lawyer on your transaction and you come all from the sort of like a vulnerable place a little bit, right? Because you have to share, your concerns and your problems. And don't you want to have a little bit of the warm, feminine, loving energy in the room? I see a lot of female lawyers working in transactional field. Yeah, okay, maybe litigation might be a little bit different in litigation. I worked with the one litigant lawyer who was trying to do some real estate. I kind of like experienced it all. Right. It might be a little bit different, it might be a little bit too vexatious and adversarial, but transactional law is not meant to be adversarial. We're meant to work as the team, and we're meant to understand and each other and cooperate, because we all work towards the same goal of closing the transaction, obviously.
Right.
So,
all right.
So, yeah.
All right, here it is. Last one. Who are the 3 people who have been influenced in your life?
My biggest influence is my grandma. My grandma she has an amazing spirit. She is the fighter, and I'm not it's too long of a discussion to give you her life story, but she has always been my role model, and not just mine, for many people actually. And I'm like very proud to have grandma like her. I think my willpower comes from her quite a bit. The second person is I think my sister. I'm sorry, I'm just being so boring just naming my family.
These are the people. These are the people, and that's what they need. Sometimes they need to hear it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be superstar. So I love it. So grandma, sister, talk about it.
So my sister, she was actually the first person who left the country, left Estonia. My sister moved to Italy when she was after her first divorce, and she actually also went through like establishing her own life in Italy on her own. She's now successful and married, has a child, and I just remember seeing her. I was also young. I was probably around the same age, 14 years old. I was, I think, 15, 16 something, when she moved to Italy, and she had to leave her child behind for a couple of years with the mom while she was establishing herself there. And I just remember going there. I used to spend my summers with her in Italy for a few years, and we worked together at the restaurant. And I just remember how every night she would cry herself while looking at the picture of her son. And I was impressed with how strong and determined she was. And, and might seem like a cold-blooded person, but she had so much pain inside that she was just not show to anyone. But she was able to bring him over to Italy eventually, and now everything's good.
There you go. See, so there's a reason why you do certain things. It might be tough for a while, but there's an end goal. And if you have to get to that end goal, grind it out, get to that end goal, and then it works out. That's perfect. So grandma, sister, one more.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say it's my mom, right? It has to complete the cycle.
It has to go all the way down. It has to go all the way down.
I'm just gonna go down this rabbit hole. It's my mom. It's just hands down my mom. She's another strong woman, and she raised me all by herself. I was raised without dad. Like, it was just my mom being a single parent, working full-time job, taking care of her children to the degree that she could, and also I never saw her feeling bad for herself or anything. And you see so many people that are so much better off, but all they do is they just go down the path of feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah.
I think this is the very wrong path to take, because it's just not going to end well.
Yeah.
I think I'm very thankful I was raised without this bad example in front of my eyes. I was raised by a very strong woman, and I was taught to be strong as well. So I'm thankful for this.
There you go. You got a power team right behind you. That's lovely. All right. We got that one more thing. All right. It is time for quick fire. So I'm just going to rapidly ask you some quick questions. You just rip them right back out at me. And if you want to explain one of them, you can explain real quick. But then we just got to go. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Favorite dessert?
Tiramisu.
Favorite book?
I have to say Russian classic, anything Russian classic or French.
Right. What is your hidden talent that nobody knows about?
I can paint.
You can paint. See, there you go. All right. What is that song that you sing in the shower?
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me.
I love it. All right. If you could meet anybody, past or present, who would you meet?
Oh man, I don't even know. Oh my god.
All right. If you could go anywhere around the world, where's the one location you have to go?
I like Bali.
Bollywood?
Just to see the sunset. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. And if you can give anybody one special advice, what would you tell somebody?
Oh, I would say don't give up. Ever.
There you go. Well, thank you. You've been fantastic. Thank you for getting us to know you and getting to know your business. And that's why we want to work with people, because we get to know them better and know the struggles and all the things you've gone to have this great business of yours. So if you want to get some information, give her a call. 416-500-5620. That's 500-5620. Or just go to the site. She's got a lot of information on her site. It's easy. Click. She can help you out. There it is.ca. Or you can just send her an email. Say, look, I saw you on the show. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. There is her email. There you go. All right. Before we let you go, you want to say hi to anybody before we let you go? Say hi.
Yes. Hi, everyone. And thank you so much for having me on the show. Thanks, Immigrant Women in Business, for introducing me to Charles. And thanks all the support that I have out there. And thanks to the clients that trust me with their transaction. Thank you.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I learned a lot from you today. You know what I mean? It's not a hard process to get that will going.
I don't have a will.
So if you want to get some information and help, and if somebody's looking for information, this is the right person to call. One more time before we let you go. 416-500-5620. All right, everybody. You know the saying, you didn't have to watch, but you did. And I'm so glad that you did. I hope this helps you get some information. And do me a favor, call somebody and say, hey, I was thinking about you today, and have a great day. I'll see you. Bye, everyone.
Has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical service.